What's up, guys? Brian Grant here of ContestChampion.com, here to bring you some more Alliance War coverage. This time my Alliance for Loki is going up against disadvantaged villains, and I'm bringing in Vision, Quake, and Iceman. This war has a couple of interesting fights to it in regards to who is placed on defense. Sometimes it's a familiar champion, but just on a little bit of a different node. And that even starts with this first node up here. This is the bleed node, of course. And typically who I see on this node is, Electro, Nightcrawler. Sometimes, it's just kind of a random champion on this first node. First node not super important. And it happens to be Magic. And Magic, normally I hate fighting Magic with Vision. But on the first node, it's actually not too bad. Because the buff isn't that strong, so the limbo damage isn't that strong. She doesn't take as many hits to take down, and I actually get a bit lucky here. I think that's the only limbo that actually triggers throughout the entire fight. I do mess up here, and my power burn, does push her over that L1. I'm still not the greatest, at fighting Magic with Vision here, and you really need to get the power timings down better. Because you can see I do it again there. She could have went to limbo 2 extra times this fight and just didn't. I mean, she wouldn't have healed up because she had that heal block, but I would have eaten a lot more damage. But in any case, not too bad at all. 25 hits, she's down. It's kind of to be expected on the first node. Like I said, it's not really that powerful of a boost. All right, next node up, and this one there will be a different champion than normal. I do my normal hesitation thing, trying to think about who's going to be placed here. Normally it's Magic or Nightcrawler, and depending on who it is, I want to be taking in different champions. If it's Magic, I want to take in Quake. If it's Nightcrawler, I want to take in Vision. And I'm thinking, I just saw Magic. Maybe this will be Nightcrawler. So I go in with Vision, and turns out it's Beast. What? Interesting. Beast, man. I kind of forget how to fight this guy. You're gonna see me hesitate a few times. You're gonna see me, he uses a heavy attack, and I forget what the animation looks like, so I just have to back off and kind of study the animation. You're gonna see that in just a moment here, where like I said, I forgot how to fight this guy. It's been so long since I actually saw a Beast. Yeah, right there. I had a perfect opening, and I was like, okay, didn't remember what it looked like. So there we go. I used another heavy attack. This time I go in, and his special 2, very easy to dodge. So at this fight, I'm feeling pretty confident at this point, thinking, it's going to be kind of an easy fight. I'm happy that it wasn't, Magic on this node or something like that. Everything going smoothly, and then get clipped by the L1. Forgot how to dodge that one. Got stunned. Got a bunch of hits in there. Down pretty low on life, and at this point I'm just trying to get through alive. At first I was trying to minimize damage, get through with like a decent amount of HP. Figured I could use Vision later on in war, but yeah, now at this point I'm really just trying to make it through. And this does come back to bite me later on. I'll point out, taking all this extra damage here definitely kind of hurts me a bit for as far as finishing on my path goes. But Beast, I go into kind of power gain mode here, trying to just land a successful parry. It takes me a few tries here, but there we go. Finally get him down, and yeah, Vision, he's not looking too healthy, but at least I didn't lose him. I can move on. Don't have to revive this guy at least. Alright, so up next we have the Unblockable L2 node. The node that can make or break the run for me on occasion here. But yeah, here we go. Unblockable L2. I'm thinking, normally I see Doctor Strange here. Doctor Strange is the most common champion that I see on this node. Hood is probably the second most common champion. There's a few others that I see here occasionally. Just going with Iceman, maybe Beta and L3. Whoa, it's Hyperion. I didn't know what to think. I was like, you know what? Let me just. I could dodge his L2, but I might as well just push him to his L3, and I'm only going to take 5% damage with Iceman. No big deal. This Hyperion could actually be a real threat here if I didn't have Iceman. You can dodge his L2. It's it's unblockable, but whatever, it's kind of easy to dodge. But if you don't bait it out in time, he could just power gain right on to special 3, and I could see this guy picking up a few kills on this node. Like I said, I'm using Iceman, so it didn't really bother me too much. Very used to this matchup at this point, fighting Hyperions with Iceman. Not saying that I get through them flawlessly every time, but you know, I'm still very comfortable with it. I keep making the same mistake though, where I use my special 3 before he uses his special 3, just kind of out of instinct for what I do in a normal, typical fight. Normally, if they have their special 3 built up, I'm like, alright, well, let me just get as much damage as I can in before they use their special. This way, you know, after they use it, there was an empty power bar instead of me using my specials afterwards to fill up their power bar. But it's actually better if I don't do that with Iceman against Hyperion, and allow me to space out the fight better if I hold back, allow me to get my ice armor back up and running and everything. But, you know, whatever. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter a ton. And at this point, yeah, I didn't even care. I was just thinking, alright, whatever, I'll just do my damage here. I don't care if he gets another special 3, it's only 5% damage. So I didn't even try to bait out his special at a certain point there, and just kind of wanted to finish the fight. But in any case, yep, 47 hits, not too bad. Taking down that Unblockable L2 node with a little bit of a damage, you know, a little bit of health loss on Iceman. What is that? Maybe about a third of my life or so. Whatever it is, not that big of a deal. But this is the bleed node, of course, which means I do want to go in with Iceman since vision is pretty low on life. And I didn't really expect to see magic here, gotta be honest. I don't normally see magic on this node. I didn't really have too much of a choice of who to go in with. It would have been nice if I could bring in, you know, vision for this this particular fight. So yeah, that's where that damage loss is that I was talking about. I would have actually brought vision for this fight, as I do kind of prefer to bring him in against this node. This is a matchup though that I don't really ever get to do, Iceman versus magic, and I didn't know what to think. You know, at first I tried just kind of playing it normally here and trying to push her over a power meter or power bar and you know, stand back and eat that limbo damage, basically just watch myself die. But then at a certain point I was like, you know what, maybe I should just push her to her L3 if she's not throwing her special. Maybe I can get away with pushing her to her L3 and having her just not use her special and just try to get in as much damage as possible, and that way she wouldn't be triggering limbos and stuff like that. At this point I know I'm gonna die from limbo, and yeah, I'm just trying to do as much damage as I possibly can, and I almost take her down, and then yeah, limbo, it gets me first. Oh, magic. Gotta love magic, guys. Yeah, magic with Mystic Dispersion, gotta love it. But whatever, not the end of the world. I die there, but I still have Quake left, still have vision kind of hanging on by a thread there. Honestly, you know, I went in here with Quake, but I probably should have just went in with vision. Since it is the bleed node, I could have saved a tiny bit of health, but at the end of the day, I still only took such a small amount anyway, so whatever. Alright, so this node's finished up. I have one more node left in the path, and it is, of course, the power gain node, and I'm expecting to see another magic. Already fought 2 magics this war, and even though they were on kind of different placements than normal, than what I normally see at least, I was expecting to find a third. That, or I mean Hyperion I see on this node all the time. Occasionally I get Cable or some other, you know, somewhat unusual choice. But yeah, for the most part, it's probably magic. But in this case, it is Hyperion, which, like I said, not an unusual choice here. Hyperion I see on this node all the time as well. It's basically a toss-up between the 2 champions. And Hyperion, I feel more comfortable fighting Hyperion, but it is also more susceptible to error, I would say. Magic is like more unavoidable damage, but Hyperion, if you make a mistake, you're not just taking some damage, you're probably dead. So yeah, I'm just trying to control his power meters as best I can, not playing quick style at all, just trying to fight this like I was fighting against any other champion here. baiting out specials. And the thing about Hyperion is he makes up a bunch of ground on his SP2 and on his heavy attack. So yeah, eventually here, just like most Hyperion fights go, I get kind of backed up against the corner, and I try my best to fight my way out, but with all that extra power gain that he has, I just can't seem to get out of this corner. And he was actually going into a heavy attack there. This guy, I got super lucky. I ended up punching him. He just barely being out the heavy attack. This time, I got clipped by the heavy. I'm trying to attack, trying to fight out of the corner, and I should have just baited because, yeah, I ran right into his SP2. That was tough to watch back because I almost made it through. I almost made it through. It was in such a tough spot. Almost made it through, but just could not quite pull it out. But whatever. What are you going to do? Go in. I still have Vision alive, like I said. And part of me was thinking, like, do I really need to heal up? Yeah, I should probably heal up. And then I was thinking, well, I mean, if I'm going to heal up, do I need a 6,000 heal, or should I just go with a 3,000 heal? He's pretty low. Let's just go with a 3,000 heal. Let's show some balls here. I mean, how many hits is this really going to take? Can I possibly screw this up? Let me just pop this 3,000 heal, get this thing over with here, and go in, and the fight goes very well, actually. I don't know if I take a single point of damage even. That's kind of how well it goes. I could have done this without healing up, but of course if I didn't use a potion, then it would have been complete opposite, and I would have got wrecked probably and then regret not healing. So that's typically how it goes when using a potion like that, right? Either you overcompensate for what you need and play super well or something like that, or you don't heal up and you get wrecked and you regret it. But in any case, that is going to do it for my contribution to this war. We did come out victorious in this one. It was a good war to disadvantaged villains here. Maybe we will come across each other one day again. But for now, that is it, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.